Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can be a member of the Shannons Club. Pace Farm, the enjoyable egg. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. And Gun Lake Quarries. I have travelled to Wollongong, New South Wales to interview two guys with two special cars. And you're about to see them on this week's episode of Classic Restos. First cab off the rank. How are you, Sash?
Not bad, Fletch.
That's good, mate. You brought this beautiful car along today, a genuine 68 Shelby. Mate, this is a masterpiece.
Yes, it is, mate.
How long was the build process? Where did you start? How was the car when you got it?
Well, the car, it wasn't in great state. So what I did was I took it over, I brought it here to BL Automotive, where Leo went right through it. And from there he went to Classic Restorations to Jason, and he done all the body work on it. And then we brought it back to finalise all the motor and suspension. It was a ground up rebuild. So yeah, that's where we're at.
How cool is that? We've got Leo here today. We're at Leo's premises. Speaking on the behalf of Leo, he's done a great job here.
He has indeed. Very great job.
There's some little different. You've personalised the car. You've made this Shelby yours. I couldn't help but notice that the man himself, Carrol, he's put the signature there on the glove compartment door. Even that must make you feel pretty special.
It does indeed, mate. Very special. Very lucky.
That guy was amazing, Carrol Shelby. Even in his last days of driving one of these things, he was 150, 160 mile an hour around the track, apparently only just weeks before he passed away. He was a real legend, wasn't he?
He was indeed, mate. He was a great legend.
Now, Sash, with this car, with the modifications that have been done, just walk us through a few of those. A little bit about the engine, a little bit about the suspension.
Well, the engine's bored out. Got a 9-inch diff in it with 35 spline.
Where would you Ford boys be without the old 9-inch diff, eh?
That's correct. Love it.
Suspension-wise?
Suspension-wise is the RRS coil-over suspension.
Yep.
It's got the 6-caliper braking system on the front and the 5-caliper braking system on the rear. So
with the rear suspension, in terms of mounting points, using the original mounting points where front spring shackles would have once been?
That's correct, exactly the same.
Yeah. And I suppose the lateral stability, the way the car tracks, it must just feel fantastic.
It feels like a brand new car, mate. Feels very, very nice.
Isn't it beautiful? You can have one of these cars from the day and leave them stock as how they left their dealerships, or go the next level and put a little bit of extra high-tech into the suspension, and really it gives you two different dimensions, doesn't it? It gives you the classic feel of the car with a bit of late model stuff just to improve a few things here and there, and then you end up with this.
That's correct, mate. It's unbelievable to drive. Very, very nice.
To complement the driving experience, the interior is beautiful as well. I like what you've done there.
Yes, the interior got done. I actually purchased it with that interior in it.
Yep.
And we just put that in and set it off pretty well.
Good on you, mate. The colour of the car, what is it, Sash?
It's a pepper grey, mate. Pepper grey.
Pepper grey, the only colour that makes you sneeze.
Yes, the same colour as the Gone in 60-second car.
Yeah. Wow, what a movie, hey?
Indeed it was, mate.
I've got to ask you, how many times have you watched that?
Lost count. Lost count, mate.
It's actually scary when you watch that to see how well they did that and how easy it was to take those old cars back then.
Definite, mate, definite.
Sash, been a pleasure talking to you, mate. We're going to have a quick word now with Leo, a guy that had an integral part that he played in the construction of this car. Thank you, Sash.
Cheers, Fletch.
About 20 months ago, a customer come to see me regarding some extensive work and upgrades on this particular vehicle. Some of the stuff that we've done, we'll start off with the suspension first and the braking. We've done an upgrade on the suspension and braking. We've got coil-over shocks front, coil-over shocks rear, and we've got an upgrade of a 6-spot caliper for the front and a 4-spot caliper braking system for the rear. All that stuff was supplied by RRS in Sydney. I wanted to keep the supply local just in case of any repairs in the future. Next thing is I've upgraded with a Ford 9-inch diff with a 3.5 diff ratio. It's a true track, 31 billet axles in it. It's all brand new. It drives like a treat. It's a 5-speed factory gearbox that the Mustang did come out with. Also, it's got the Windsor Motor in it. The Windsor Motor's been upgraded up to about, at the moment it's making just on 600 horsepower. Now, the dyno session only finished not long ago. We've got a rack and pinion steering, and that's a billet steering conversion. It's got all billet brackets, billet power steering rack. Also, we've got all billet pulleys on the front of the motor. You'll see that particular kit runs one serpentine belt, which runs the air conditioning, power steering and the alternator unit. It's all one particular unit, and as you can see, it looks like a serpent. That's why it's called the serpentine belt. As you can see, body and paint, it's superb. It's done by Jason of Classic Fabrication. He's done a great job on the body, as you can see. The interior, that's how the car was bought from America. So the upgrades that we've done on the car took about 20 months, and we've still got about another 6 to 8 weeks to go until it's completely finished. So the next stage is for Sash to start driving the car.
Right, always protect your camera gear, bit of Nana's underpants around your GoPro. It's time to mount the GoPro onto the car now, and the best way to mount the GoPro onto the car. Leo, you got a 5/16 drill bit?
Like Dad, I've always been a Ford man. The Falcon Squire wagon was unloved in 1964, but turns heads today. The Americans call them woodies, but the panelling, it's just fiberglass and plastic. But it's a passion that Shannons understands, which is why my Fords are insured with Shannons. And now, so's the home.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
Heron Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare & Forbes has the range.
And on with the show as we do. How you doing, Michael?
Fantastic, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. 1985, a VK considered the last of the big bangers.
Correct. Watched these things growing up around Bathurst, and I thought I had to have one.
It's a good score these days that you do, because the VK starting to get very hard to get now.
They are, yes. I mean, a lot of people now do build them because of its nostalgic sort of presence. People see them as in their youth, and they say, I've got the money for it now, I might as well get one, what I want.
When we look back, though, we remember Brocky, rest his soul, getting around in the VC, the VB, the VH Commodores, into the VKs. What an era.
It was great watching him. I mean, Brocky was a legend, inspired a lot of people, and to this day, I mean, a lot of people aspire to be something that he's done in the sporting history of Australia.
Certainly an all-time great. And what about Craig Lownes, following in his footsteps?
That's correct. I mean, a lot of guys followed after Brock, trying to live up to the footsteps and make their mark on the history of the sport. And I think they have done that, and it's a credit to what Holden had done.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, behind us here, a car depicting, reminding us of 1985 in all its glory. An original interior, Michael?
No, not the original interior. I went for a bit different look on the interior. I mean, a lot of the guys go for the replica look and the look that they came out with. I went for a leather suede look, just to set off the car a little bit. And obviously with the wheels that I put on it and the look, we went black and white, so it sort of continued with the colour theme.
Same bolstering and the seat frames, though, as original?
Yes and no. I tried to keep it as much as original as possible, but with my own touch to it. So it's a bit different. So when people look at it, they sort of scratch their head and ask, are these Recaros, are these original seats? And when I tell them where they're from, they just shake their head and say it's unbelievable.
I think it's nice because it's your own change, but it's kind of period correct as well. It doesn't look too far outside the scale. It's not a full customised interior, which is very, very nice indeed. Now, up under the hood, what have we done there?
I've kept with the original Holden theme, gone a 355 Holden engine with the early model heads on it as well. A lot of people in these cars put the V and heads on it. I stuck with the original theme. Try and keep it as close to era period correct. And I think I've done what I wanted to do.
They're a good package. I can remember back in 85 when the 5 litre, the 308 VK was new, and the duck egg blue, the high patrol cars with their big tanks. I drove one of those, and to this day, from a stock perspective, when I look back, it'd be one of the quickest things back then that I ever drove. They really did go well, and I think that around 85, correct me if I'm wrong, was probably the last of the era where they did a spec for the cops. So they went hard.
They did. The reason why I know this is because what's standing behind me is what made me do it. My dad had one. He had a white one, so I thought I may as well do one as well. So it was good in that regard because it brought back the youth and good to pay homage to my parents as well.
That's very nice, Michael. Well put. Now, when you got the car, what was it like, mate? Have you had to do much to it? Was it a mess, or what's the go there?
What happened was I was searching for a complete car and I found one down in Nowra on the south coast. It was Canary Yellow and a 6-cylinder.
Okay.
So that's where my dream began, and this is where it is behind me now.
The extent of the attention to detail you've done here, Michael, had you not told me that, I would not have known. This, to me, just could have been an original car as is.
That's correct. And when I selected the car, I made sure that everything was on the car. I didn't have to source anything. So basically what I did was refurbish the car to what it is now, and this is what I've got.
So, Michael, from the heart, how does it make you feel when you drive this car? Driving along, arm on the door, what's that feeling?
It's very hard to put into words, but it's just exhilarating. I mean, the feeling that you get knowing that you've built this car from ground up and you're driving it now just gives you that awesome sensation just to want to keep going and not stop. Just look for the next survey to keep going.
It's winding the clock back psychologically too. You're a 1985 car, and there's just something about that as well. It's just the whole package, isn't it?
It is. I mean, a lot of people now, the car scene's come back a lot of recent. A lot of the older cars have sort of come back, and people wanting that older feeling of hanging out with their mates, going for a drive, getting something to eat, and just being with people and friends. That's what it's all about.
As you can see, we've got a beautiful VK Commodore behind us. I'm proud to say I've done the engine program on it. The engine program consists of the factory 5 litre motor. I've done some upgrades on it. I've put an aftermarket crankshaft, conrod and piston package, which makes it a 355 stroker. We've kept the original cylinder heads, and proud to say that we've got a genuine 560 horsepower out of this engine. It runs on high octane premium pump fuel, so no octane booster is needed, no fancy race fuels are needed. The vehicle is driven, it can be driven every day. It has been driven every day in periods of time. The brake upgrade's been done as well on the vehicle. It's been entered in a few events. It's come top 60 in the elite section of the Summer Nats. It has raced in the quarter mile, and at the present moment the car's ran an 11.0. So the engine makes plenty of power. That's what the customer wanted, so I think I nailed it on that one. The transmission consists of a Trimatic. I've got some upgrades on it. It's got a full manual valve body, it's got a transmission cooler, and it's got a quick shifter. The differential is an upgrade to a 9-inch diff. It's got a 3.9 ratio with billet axles, aluminium diff centre. It's got a custom tail shaft in it. It's got a custom fuel system. It's got custom extractors, custom exhaust. The exhaust is tucked up really, really high up. The car consists of, it's got a 4 muffler package, so it's quiet on the street. And when you put your foot down, hold on. I'll go back to a few shows that he's put it in. He's always come back with some sort of trophy. He's enjoying his car scene with the vehicle. Probably every second weekend he's out with the car. And he's got 3 kids and they all fight for the front seat. The customer, Michael, I've done a few vehicles for him, but this is by far the elite one. I hope Michael comes back and builds another vehicle, because at the present moment, I quite don't own my house yet.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes, from the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts, so when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Oh, HQ Wagon here, bit of Fletch's restoration work. The guy brought it back to me. He wasn't happy with the work that I did on the car. He said that it wasn't like that when he picked the car up. But it just goes to show, you love your classic, make sure it's insured with Shannons. Want to pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And don't forget the Shannons Club, because there is literally hours there of entertainment awaiting you, along with over 300 episodes of Classic Restos. For more information, check out shannons.com.au.
Probably have to begin 20 years ago, back in Wollongong, when the car scene was a big scene in Wollongong. A lot of people down the beach, a lot of cars, a lot of the old classic cars that we call now today. A lot of Commodores, Tiranas, just cruising the streets and showing off what they've built, what they've done in their garages for the past year or so, or 2 years or 3 years. It's always mateship and always great car. You know, you've done well, keep up the good work and we'll see you next time. So it's good to see that, because it makes you want to actually go out and live that part of your life as well. See a guy cruising, have to give him the thumbs up. I mean, that's just part and parcel of the car trade down in Wollongong. Next time you might see him, you might pull up at a kebab shop and shout him a kebab. So anything's possible down here. There was always the mate that was the Ford guy, and you'd be the Holden guy, and you'd be at each other's throats, and you'd wait for Bathurst to see who'd get up and who'd lose, and then you wouldn't want to talk to him or he would want to talk to you. But hey, that's what it's all about in the car industry. And I think that's where I got the enthusiasm to start doing what I was doing with the car. We've done a fair few car shows with it, we've raced it, we've been on days with it, we've been on cruises with it. It's just a fantastic car to drive. I mean, I can't say it's not a street car, but it is a street car, because as you can see, it's out here, we drive it, we enjoy it, throw the kids in the car, go for a barbecue and just enjoy what the day brings. To all the guys or ladies out there doing their restos in their garage, piecing together their dreams, keep at it. I mean, it wasn't built overnight, but once you get there, it's well worth it. So keep up the good work.
Michael, thank you so much for your time today, mate. I really appreciate you bringing the car out. The weather's not the best, and you've risked that, and so far so good, mate. Unscathed, no rain, so keep up the great work in the preservation of this VK. You've done a beautiful job, you really have. It's a credit to you, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Filming classic restos can be a pretty tough gig. because at times, well, things don't go to plan. Here's just a little of what can go wrong on the job. Righto, hang on, listen to this. 1, 2, 3. 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, 1, 2, 2. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Got it. Fletch can't add up. Edit that out, Daddy. Take out amazing, because that sounds like.
You see people approach me and they see Fletch and they go, oh God, that other guy's there. Let me come back when he's not around. So, you see, you actually keep the other people away.
Gets a bit lost on the hills. That's okay. Here we go. There you go. I hope when they finish their job, they'll walk back through and Fletch will welcome them to come back through.
A Buick in Pennsylvania and ordered this car. That's like I said, it's just been an easy thing to...
A design that's just a little bit...
So they really like it.
They're rounded lines. These things were just ready to... Looking at the components.
And go right through the car, just tightening everything.
Moisture doesn't hurt anything really.
Of course, with the electrics being provided by the flywheel.
Made in 1900, so...
You know, a real street entry is one of the best tickets that you can get. I'll start again, hang on. I'll start again. Sorry, Bernie. Now, do you know who I am now?
Yeah, you're Rex, Flex,
Fletch.
Fletch.
All right, Duncan. With me now, this guy not. With me now, Steve Bisley. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Fletch.
Fletch,
You're the man, you know that? You really
poor bugger. Good on you, mate. Here, can you shake my hand? There you go. Differently in terms of. Hang on, say that piece again. He's Fletchy stuffed it up. The Shannons top 5 Australian cars and the Shannons top 5... Oops, other way around. And after this... Oh, fell over.
Si, senor, we don't know what to do with the door trim, so we use the curtain. They take the curtain off the window and cut it out, put on the door trims, man. Hey, that's the way we go with this one.
Glenn, have you seen the business card that I give to people that I don't like?
I have not.
Oh, jeez.
You're original, but you've had restoration here and there. I mean, yeah, nip and tuck and all that. I mean, you can't look that good for 84, right? I mean, you know, look at this. Look at this face. I mean, that is that beautiful restoration. No, seriously.
Hey, Lee, how cool is this?
Very cool on a day like today.
Out of about 30 or 40 people that have come up to Jay, I've had 2, right?
Yeah, that's right. They recognize you. They're right. Yeah. I think one did time with you in prison, and the other just recognized you from the show.
Fred, it's always been great. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Hang on. Oh. This is Jim. Well, I hope you've really enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos here in Wollongong, New South Wales. How cool was Sash's Mustang? And of course, Michael's VK. As I say at the end of every episode of Classic Restos, no matter where you're watching the show from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can be a member of the Shannons Club. Pace Farm, the enjoyable egg. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. And Gun Lake Quarries.